warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Farel. I wanna explain about film report. My title is Farel 4. Okay, the film begins with Dominic Toretto and his team in action hijacking a tanker in the Dominican Republic. Unfortunately, just as their mission was about to success, the truck driver made a move that nearly injured Letty. Luckily, Dom acted and managed to save Letty and start this Fast Furious movie. Okay, before we continue, I will give any point on this film. The first point is Letty's death. One night, a colleague of Dom named Han informed him that the police are tracking them. Dom is worried that Letty will be in danger if he continues with her. So he decided to leave his girlfriend. On other hand, Brian O'Connor has now joined the FBI and called a drug dealer. The dealer gave him information about Davis Parr, who is an accomplice to a kingpin named Arturo Braga. Several months later, Dom, who is in Panama, received news from MIA that Letty has died in car accident. Dom rushes the Letty's funeral in LA. From a distance, Brian also attended the funeral. That night, Dom returned to the scene of Letty's accident and finds a clue to the culprit who caused the incident. He was determined to finish off the perpetrator and all of his men. Dom continued his investigation to an auto repair shop and gets information about David Parr. He immediately met Parr at this apartment and begged Braga's men. Meanwhile, Brian also head to Davis Park place and find Dom nearly killing him. So Brian rushed to save Park and allow Dom to escape. Based on David Park's information, Braga is looking for a reliable driver and racer to carry out his drug transaction. The FBI also assigned Brian to go undercover and gains access as Braga courier. So they feed Brian to choose and modify confiscated cars that were often used in illegal racing events. Meanwhile, Dom also intends to infiltrate Braga headquarters in the same way. He also prepared a car that will be used. The two met in a racing event that had been prepared by a Braga right-hand man named Ramon Campos. Okay, the second point is same enemy and hound. Apart from Ramon, Braga also has a beautiful female assistant named Giselle Yashar. After Ramon and Giselle explain the simple racing rules and techniques, all the participants start racing, including Dom and Brian. Brian catches up with Dom after cutting off the road. However, Dom pull off a little tree, causing Brian's car to lose control and crash out of the way. Thus, it was Dom who became the winner of the competition. However, Brian intimidated another driver and managed to join the Braga team. Raymond enters the room and communicates with someone. Brian picked and the figure talking to Ramon through the slightly open door and suspected it to be Braga. On the other hand, Dubs entered a repair shop and find a car with suspension components. He looking further and confirmed that the car was the one that had injured Letty. Then Giselle happened to find him and said that the owner of the car was Phoenix, who had a close relationship with Braga. At the America and Mexico border, Brian and the other racers do their job. After avoiding helicopter from the police, they successfully carry out the mission and meet Braga and all of his assistants. However, Dom found something wrong and finally revealed that Ramon Campos was the real author of Braga. Chaos ensues following a sudden explosion. Dom again confirmed that Phoenix and his Torino car were perpetrators who had killed Letty. In the chaos, Dom and Brian finally team up. While Dom distracts Baraga and his henchmen, Brian hijacks a car with Baraga 1990 $90 million worth of heroin. Then they left the place and headed to the police headquarters in LA to secure the car and heroin. Brian tells the injured Dom to rest a bit. He then calls Mia to treat the wound on Dom's body. Okay, next point is same enemy and home too. Previously, Brian had met Mia when he was going to be a witness for a case. Brian's intuition said that at that time Mia would get into trouble, so he avoided his ex-girlfriend from being interrogated by the police. At that time, Don found out that Brian was the last person to make contact with Letty. He was angry and attacked Brian without giving the slightest chance. Luckily, Mia managed to calm down, and give Brian time to explain. As it turned out, it was Letty herself who contacted Brian and asked for his help. He made a deal to spy on Baraga so that the police would arrest Dominic Toretto's criminal record. Hearing this, Dom forgave Brian. However, his determination to finish off Baraga and his entire accomplice is also getting hotter. So Dom and Brian returned to harm Baraga. They lure Baraga to exchange heroin and money and intend to ambush the kingpin. Unfortunately, the plan failed and ended in chaos that almost hurt Giselle. Luckily, Dom was able to save the beautiful woman even though he had to let Baraga and Phoenix escape. After the failure, the FBI learned of Brian involved with Dom and relieved him of his duties as an agent. However, Brian started that he would still go with Dom to hunt down Baraga. On the other hand, Mia respects Brian's decision and makes their relationship close again. The next point is New Rock Brian. After receiving information from Giselle, Dom and Brian head to Mexico to hunt down Braga and Phoenix. They manage to ambush Braga and crush and arrest him. However, Braga's numerous henchmen hunt them down to save the boss, including Phoenix. Cash action using a car like a wild race was inevitable. The action continues through a desert and into a tunnel. In the tunnel, Brian and Dom's expertise managed to get rid of Baraga's men one by one. Phoenix, who was chasing Brian, causes a series of collisions. He managed to overturn Brian's car right after they came out of the cave. Unfortunately, the injured Brian was unable to put up any significant resistance and made Phoenix corner him. Luckily, Dom arrived in time with his car and squashed Phoenix to death. As the police approached the venue, Brian told Dom to run away. However, Dom did not want to leave Brian and said he was tired of running, so Apart of arresting Braga, the police also arrested Dominic Toretto. Dom later stood in court and was sentenced to 50 25 years in prison for his past mistake. Previously, Brian had negotiated with the FBI to erase Dom's criminal record if the men helped capture Braga. However, the FBI did not approve of that. Later, Brian had also applied for clemency for Dom, but the court had not heeded it. This made Brian disappointed and resigned from FBI. The skin then showed Dom and the other prisoners boarding a bus that will take them to the prison. On the way, Brian and Mia were following the bus. Along with them were two of Dom's other colleagues, namely Leo and Santos. Dom glanced back when Dom glanced back and saw the cars. He knew his friend and colleagues were doing this prey. Then he said quietly and smiled faintly, ending this film. Okay, maybe that's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.